right, another option that we can use to improve our photos is something called curves. And we are going to open the picture of the dog again in the snow. So Callie, this one, could have grabbed it right out of here, out of my recent documents, but I got too quick. So curves, if you've ever opened this dialog box before, it may seem a little imposing or scary or something you don't want to learn about, but it really is an awesome tool. It's something like levels, but it has even more options. So using a curves adjustment. So again, we never want to do things through the menu up here because this is destructive. We can't change our mind. All of these same options, or most of them anyway, that we see over here are available to us in our layers panel by adding a layers adjustment. So come down to that button and we're going to click on a curves adjustment. And this is the panel for curves. And our histogram comes back. So once again, we see that there are the black pixels or dark, kind of the medium gray, the lighter gray, and then a lot of light, whitish gray, all the way to the white point. So that's the same histogram we saw in our levels. But what we have now is a diagonal line going across here. The difference between levels and curves is that with levels, we were setting 3 points. We were able to change the black point, the white point, and the midpoint only. With curves, we can change all of the points from 0 all the way over to 255. So we can change the black point, we can change the medium gray, the total neutral gray, the whitish, the pure white. We have unlimited amounts. So each one of those measurements from 0 to 255 corresponds to an intersection on this curve line, and we can pull that around to get it to behave the way we want. So in general, pulling up on a curve brightens and down darkens. So I want you to just click on a center point here and start pulling this curve and notice what happens when we let go. There's my preview. It took a while. It made everything get brighter, not just the midpoint, but it tweaked all of these anchor points along the way. It made a bowed curve. So here's regular, straight across. If we pull down, we can see it's making it darker. So a steep curve increases contrast. We can also put more points on here. This is the whole point of it. So we can grab a point over here. And this point is referring or referencing the point straight down from it. So this hue, this luminosity point of lightish gray white, and I pulled that up. I can do the same down here, and I can pull a spot lower. So this lighter S, this kind of a curved S, can sometimes really improve your picture. You see it didn't do a great job here by any means. So I'm going to click on the reset button right here and bring it back. Another thing we could do is if we were to take the black point and tell it to be way up here, turn it into white. There we go. My black point is now white, and my white point, if I drag that and tell it to be black, got this off just a little bit there. When this catches up, it should basically be a negative image. All the things that were black are now told to be white, and all the things that were white are now told to be black. Again, not something you do a whole lot. Anytime your curve starts getting flat, you start to, I'm going to let this catch up so that you see the preview, you start to lose contrast. And a straight line means no contrast. Look at that, it's all neutral gray. So again, we don't want to have flat points in this curve because there will be no contrast. Now that we go back to this steep shape, it's going to be the original picture. All right, let's reset so that we're all at the same point. We're going to look at the black fur on the dog. So we know that the black points are down here on this end of the spectrum, and here's our little mountain of data. So somewhere in here is where all these pixels are. So if we click on the current curve, we know that we're somewhere in that grouping of dark colors, and we want to brighten it or darken it. If we nudge it up a little bit, again, I'm going to let go and let my computer catch up with me on a preview. Or if we drag down on the dark pixels, we darkened it. We'd like to see a little detail in there, so maybe just a little bit of a nudge up will bring some detail. There we go. I'm seeing some detail in her black fur. There's also an awesome tool on here, and this is the scrubber icon. This tool, if you ever see it, is one that you're going to really enjoy. If you click on the tool and then bring your cursor into the picture, it's going to turn into an eyedropper. And basically whatever thing you're sampling, so if I stop right now, I leave my eyedropper in the snow. If you look over at our histogram, you'll see, I can't move my mouse and show you, but I'll show you quick. Right over here, that little circle shows up here. I'll come back to the snow. You see it? That means the point I'm sampling is located on that curve line right there. Well, what does that mean for us? The cool thing is if we simply hold down our mouse and then drag up, wait for my computer to catch up, or down, notice how it's bending that curve line right at that point. So if I want to brighten up the snow a little bit, I can sample with this scrubber tool in the snow, drag up to brighten it a little bit, and then let go. Now what if I think, you know what, that looks good, but the black is a little, not black enough now. Same thing. I sample in here, I click and hold. Now notice that the circle on the curve line is down in that black mound of data, and I can pull down to darken it up a little bit or pull up to brighten it. So I could just a little bit maybe darken it up. That's quite helpful. If for some reason I wanted to target the white of her hair, again, I could sample in here. Now look where the dot is on my histogram. And I could make that brighter by pulling up or darker by pulling down. You don't want to get too bright or you start to lose detail also in the snow. So this targeted adjustment tool, or this scrubber tool, allows you to pick certain points within the image and change them on the curve. The one thing that you don't want to get too crazy with is too many points. Typically on a curve, you might set 2 or 3 additional points to get it right, but you are not going to set a specific point all the way along, because if you do, let me just keep adding some here and show you how rotten I can make this. This is overkill, right? That's terrible. Keep your curves as simple as possible. 3 adjustment points is good. And don't move your black and your white points. Those have to be anchored in the corners right off the bat. I'm going to undo this and just show you what I mean. Some people will come in here and do a little tweak here and here, and that looks maybe good. But every now and then they accidentally grab the white point and do something with that. Notice I'm making that flatter here and I'm losing detail. These corner pieces stay in the corner and you bend and add points based after that. These don't get moved. So don't pull your corner white point up or your black point in like this. That's not good. All right, let's practice this with another image. I gave you some files in the Blackboard shell to download, and we need to talk about those and go get those so we can do some practices. I've included some additional photos that we can practice on. So in Blackboard, in Learning Plan 4, after the actual learning plan, just scroll down to where I have some additional things, and there is a photos for chapter 4 and 5, and go ahead and download that, and we'll take a look at those once you have the download. Once the download is complete on a Mac, you just have to double click. That will open it and unzip it. On a PC, you do have to go select it and choose the extract or unzip button. And once you have those files available, we'll take a look at what we have. All right, once you have that downloaded and unzipped, you'll see that there's a variety of photos in here, some from our book and others that I've added for practice. So within here, I'd like you to find the file called Levels Dog and open that, and we'll just do a quick practice on this using levels in a non-destructive way. Oh, and I suppose this is going to open. Ugh. It's fun that you get to see my frustration. On a Mac, when you double click on a JPEG, it likes to open it in the preview mode rather than in Photoshop, which is my goal. So it's trying to launch preview here. I should really know better. I should either open it directly from Photoshop, or I should right click and choose to open it with Photoshop. On a PC, you may have this issue where it assumes that with JPEGs, you want to open it in a preview type program. Oh boy. So Jonathan, I know you said that you like it when I get frustrated. My computer is stupid, but I have to tell you I hate it. I know you like it just because we all have these issues. So here's the stinking preview that the Mac popped up for me. No thank you, go away. So I guess probably best case scenario and best practice is to stay in Photoshop, which seemingly has closed on me. All right, one moment, please. Thanks to the magic of the pause button, we are back with Photoshop running. So again, might just be easiest to be in Photoshop and open a file and navigate to wherever that download happened to go for you. And I sure hope your computers are faster than mine. I feel like playing the Jeopardy theme song right about now.